In fact, Lucia was appealing for a sign, a miracle for all to see that they were telling the truth. The Virgin Mary heard her plea.
After the first apparitions, people were asking for Our Lady to create a miracle so that all may believe. In fact, the Virgin promises a miracle, which was to happen on the 13th of October of that year.
Lucia's mother continued to get mad at her because she thought she was still lying. Lucia said that it was the truth and said that Our Lady was going to make a miracle that everybody would see. And her mother would say, "More lies."
October 13th, 1917. It was a cold, rainy day. An expectant crowd of over 70,000 filled the pasture. All eyes were on the three shepherd children, waiting for them to summon a sign from God.
People came here to watch the miracle and said to us, if the miracle happens and we can see it, then you speak the truth and we'll believe you. But if nothing happens, unfortunate for you, because you bring us here with a lie, and so we will beat you.
By noon, no miracle had occurred, and the crowd was growing restless. Then, suddenly, the rain stopped, and Lucia cried out, "Look at the sun!" A local newspaper reporter vividly described what happened next.
The sun looked like a plaque of dull silver, and it was possible to look at it without the least discomfort. But at that moment, a great shout went up, and one could hear the spectators nearest at hand shouting, "A miracle! A miracle!" The sun was whirling round and round, with intense movements and different colors, looking like it is going to fall onto people.
My parish priest was there, and he said that the sun detached from the sky and came down towards him. He threw himself on the ground, convinced he was going to die.
Then suddenly one heard a clamor, a cry of anguish breaking from all the people. The sun, whirling wildly, seemed all at once to loosen itself from the firmament, and blood red advanced threateningly upon the earth as if to crush us with its huge and fiery weight. The sensation during those moments was truly terrible.
Lucia's cousin Maria was a small child when she witnessed this event.
Everyone was afraid when the sun appeared. People kneeled down, and everybody asked Our Lady for forgiveness. They thought Our Lady brought them there to die.
The sun then returned to its proper place in the sky. 70,000 witnesses were awestruck by a vision no one could explain.
It's the only time in the history of Christianity that messages announced in advance a miracle to be worked several months later so that people could come to see it. It's a very significant thing.
Everybody was completely convinced that because of this marvelous thing, the facts of the apparition must be true.
The miracle of the sun sanctified the pasture as holy ground. The events had a dramatic effect on the shepherd children. Francisco spent most of the days following the miracle in solemn prayer. He said that the Virgin Mary told him he would soon be called to heaven. Suffering from pneumonia, he died on April 4th, 1919, at the age of 10. Jacinta passed away 10 months later from influenza at the age of 9. And Lucia, the only remaining survivor, joined the Order of Carmelite nuns at the age of 18. From the sanctuary of this convent, she alone held the third secret of Fatima. In 1930, the Catholic Church accepted the children's visions as a true miracle. 1 year later, Francisco and Jacinta would be credited with another miracle. In 1931, at the age of 16, Maria Santush was stricken with Pott's disease, paralyzing her from the waist down. After enduring years of tremendous pain and torturous, futile medical remedies, she prayed to Francisco and Jacinta for help.
I was 36 years old. That's when I started praying the novenas. For 15 years I prayed the novenas. One day, I started to feel my feet tingling tingling, which was very strange, because I could never feel my feet. Then there was this voice, a clear voice of a child, and the voice told me, "Sit up, you can do it." I said to myself, "Oh my God, am I sitting? Is this possible?" I was. On the 80th anniversary that Jacinta died, I said, "Oh, little Jacinta, it's been 80 years today you flew to heaven. Please don't forget this sinner." I had already tried many times to raise myself up, but I was never able to do it. And on that day, I raised myself up. I firmly set my feet on the ground. And I said to myself, "Oh, it doesn't hurt me. My legs are good. I am going to walk."
Her doctors could not explain her startling recovery. Maria's case was verified by the Vatican as a true miracle. Still, there remained the matter of the third secret, and the only surviving witness to Mary's appearance more than 8 decades ago. On his recent trip to Portugal, Pope John Paul II returned to Fatima to beatify Jacinta and Francisco. It was the second step of a complex and lengthy process that may eventually lead to sainthood. Though she will not be eligible for beatification until she dies, their cousin Sister Lucia, at 92 years old, was there as well. Amidst the joy of the occasion, one question nagged at the massive throng of worshippers and journalists. Would the third secret at last be revealed? On the podium stood 2 frail souls, the only ones with the power to disclose the third secret of Fatima. It was 1917, when a trio of children in Fatima, Portugal, claimed to have received 3 messages from the Virgin Mary. 2 of those messages, including predictions of World War II and the rise and fall of Soviet Russia, were revealed early on. The only surviving child, Lucia dos Anjos, had told no one the contents of the third secret. But in 1947, when Lucia became gravely ill, her bishop ordered her to write it down. Lucia did as she was told.
Nós podemos dizer que
The third part of the secret was taken to Rome at the end of 1957.
a irmã Lúcia tinha
Sister Lucia had told the Bishop of Leiria that it would not be made public before 1960.
1967.
So the world was expecting it to be revealed in 1960.
John the 23rd opened Sister Lucia's letter, which detailed the third secret, in 1960. And those who were there say that tears poured down his face. And he folded the letter up, put it back in its envelope, ordered it to be resealed in the archives, and said, "This is not for our time."
Over the next 40 years, other pontiffs would also read and conceal the secret. Fearing the worst, some speculated that the secret predicted a nuclear apocalypse, or a crisis of faith that threatened our collective mortal soul. The only ones who truly knew remained sheltered behind the walls of the Vatican and the walls of a convent. But on May 13th, 2000, the anniversary of Mary's first visitation to the shepherds, Pope John Paul II broke the 83-year silence.
A bishop in white makes his way with great effort towards the cross, amid the corpses of those who were martyred. He too falls to the ground, apparently dead, under a burst of gunfire.
According to the Catholic Church, it is a clear reference to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II himself, which had also occurred on May 13th in 1981.
Pope John Paul II was going through St. Peter's Square, standing up in a jeep on May the 13th, 1981, the anniversary of Mary's first appearance in Fatima. A woman held up a painting of Our Lady of Fatima, and the Pope bent down to kiss it. At that moment, the assassin pulled the trigger, and the bullet struck the Pope, but because he was bending down, it missed all his vital organs. They rushed him off to hospital, and while he was in bed, it had really come to him the significance of the date. He was convinced that Our Lady of Fatima had saved his life.
But questions remain. Why did it take so long after the 1981 assassination attempt to reveal the secret? How can one explain the fact that Mehmet Ali Ashta, the Turkish gunman who shot the Pope, told prosecutors at his trial back in 1985 that his attempt was connected to the third secret of the Madonna of Fatima? How he knew of the secret's contents remains a mystery. Many speculate that there is more to the secret than has been told. Yet no single revelation will ever remove the mystique that surrounds this place and the miracles of Fatima.